kind of fell off of the Cars series around, I'd say, 2012. I was always a fan. I always still cared about it. Every once in a while, I would look at the die-casts and buy a few, but I never really cared all that much from, like, 2012 to 2017. I would have Cars phases at some points where I would go and buy a ton of cars at some points in some years, like in 2016 and 2014. I remember I had like big Cars phases in the summers of those years, but because of my infrequent buying in the years following the release of Cars 2, which is something I really regret nowadays, I missed out on a lot of really cool cars. I've said it a bunch of times, my favorite time in the Cars diecast line is the 2013 to 2016 era. I absolutely love that era of the Cars diecast line, and I'd say the majority of cars that I've bought in the time on my channel that are not new releases have been cars released within that time frame. I've really wanted to get a bunch of those cars, and I still do want to get a bunch of those cars, but not buying cars at that time made me miss out on a lot of character variants of the Cars 2 characters. I didn't have any other Holly Shiftwells until last year when I bought Holly with Screen, and I didn't have any other Francescos until I bought the Racing Red one and the Color Changer. And I didn't have any Miles Axelrods until I bought this guy right here, Wild Miles Axelrod. Now, Wild Miles is a car that I've wanted for years now. I remember going on live streams in 2017. They were Disney Cars Collectors live streams. I would be in the chat and we would talk about how cool Wild Miles was. I believe he had Wild Miles, and I really wanted him so bad. Over time, I kind of forgot about it because I felt, you know, he's pretty expensive. It's a long shot. But then, just last week, I was checking the prices of some cars, and I found an incredibly good deal on Wild Miles, and I was finally able to pick him up. But if you want more of that story, definitely check out my haul video where I opened up him and Toan Owen. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Wild Miles Axelrod. This guy is incredible, so let's get started. I absolutely love this artwork. It might be some of my favorite Cars diecast artwork ever. Of course, he comes from the scene at the beginning of Cars 2 when they're kind of explaining Miles Axelrod's full backstory and all that. They show him crawling out of the jungle, which, side note, is the same jungle we see in Up, which is a little Easter egg there. Unfortunately, I feel like the car could do a bit of a better job with like the leaf detailing. They don't look as realistic as they do in the movie, but it's a toy. What are you expecting, you know? At Wild Miles Axelrod, the giant Cars logo. Since this is a 2014 release, in 2014 the Cars logo was here before being moved into the corner in 2015. Definitely an interesting choice. You can see how the image sort of like shoots out from these sides. He was a deluxe in the Mel Dorado Show series. He was number, let's see, 6 out of 9 in that series. The townsfolk tune in as Mel Dorado interviews Miles Axelrod about his new super fuel in the first ever World Grand Prix. Miles and Mel there. You could see Hudson Hornet Piston Cup McQueen, Wader Mater, Mel, and Miles, or Wild Miles. I have all these aside from Hudson Hornet Piston Cup McQueen, who I ironically don't have, despite having his metallic variant, the no tires variant, and this year's Easter variant. Kind of weird. Also, he's like one of my favorite McQueen paint jobs, so I don't know why I still don't have him. Let's get Miles out of the package here. You could probably argue that he shouldn't be a deluxe, but I mean, come on, look at him. He's pretty huge. This is so cool. I can't believe I finally have this item. Look at him right there. He is awesome. So, using the same mold as regular Miles, of course, with a whole ton of stuff added on. They are the same shade of green, which is nice. You can see he's got a completely exhausted expression. All of this mud on his hood. He isn't a matte release, despite having all of this dirt on him. Got the grill there, his lights, which you could see there's like a bar over the lights, which you can definitely see a bit better in the artwork. It's not as defined on the actual diecast, but like this guard over the headlights is present. He is wearing off-road tires, which are pretty dirty, it seems. Very nice touch there. Love those off-road tires. Got the mud splashed up all over the side in a very realistic way. Very nice details all around. I really like this. It's really cool to have a Miles diecast based off of him before he made himself into the Miles that we know from Cars 2 with all of his like solar panels and more eco-friendly stuff. So you can see he has this giant, what I can only refer to as a canopy of leaves and all of this stuff on him. Wow, there is a lot of it. We got some pretty dense foliage on Miles there. You can see the roof rack, which is a nice touch, as well as the lights. I like how Miles looks a lot more like an off-road Range Rover that you might see on this version of him. That's a really nice thing about him. Even more leaves on the side, sort of attached to this like sidebar. Not really sure what that's supposed to represent. Seems my back wheels are a little stuck. They definitely don't roll as well as the front ones. That's fine. He's basically going to be a display piece in my collection. I mean, this is not a car you're going to see me using in my series. I killed off Miles Axelrod, I think back in 2019. Yeah. You can see the leaves there on the back. Better look at the roof rack there if you lift up the leaves. They probably are not removable. I wouldn't try it, but if you were to remove all the leaves and stuff, this could be a pretty cool car to customize into like an off-road Range Rover. His license plate reads Alt NRG for alternate energy, which is kind of strange because I didn't really think Miles was all about alternate energy until he dealt all of this to himself. But honestly, I forget why Miles went in the jungle in the first place in Cars 2. I'm sorry, I'm a bad reviewer. Very interesting with the window here. It's not colored in, which is kind of unfortunate. Not sure if it's supposed to be. I mean, it probably is considering the rest of them are there. You can see there's a look at the other wheel. This right here is probably the reason as to why the wheels are stuck. This one leaf probably rubbing up against this wheel. That's definitely an oversight. Yeah, I like how these leaves are drooping down. Those are on either side. Are the leaves the exact same on either side? I think they might be, but these top ones definitely are not. But there's a look at this part of him, and then there is a look at the base. Definitely an incredibly cool car, one I'm very glad to finally have in my collection. This guy is absolutely awesome. It's just such a cool variant. Definitely my favorite version of Miles. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.